Here we go. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. We're here for some social media training this morning, and I'm always excited about this, but it's funny because we make like a graphic for the YouTube channel, and Jess is like, just throw a title in every week, and I'm like, okay. But then some weeks I'm like, I have so much I want to talk about though. How can I title that? So this was one of those weeks where I was like, I don't really have a title for this one because there's a lot of things I want to cover. And a lot of things I want to ask you guys about, because I know I've said it a million times, but I am so results driven. So if something isn't working, to ask, speak up and say, hey, this isn't working for me. And like, maybe it's something we tweak. I always think of Julie Godwin when we were talking about like her Facebook profile and it was on private. And the immediate thing I said was like, get it off private. Like, I don't know. I just, certain things we can tweak because they work well for others, and things that I share here with you guys are things that I've just learned that have worked well for me. And so I definitely have, when it comes to social media, an abundance mentality for this team, because I know, like, obviously this is a huge team, and there's 22 of you guys here that showed up to learn about it. So I have an abundance mentality that you can take all this back to your teams, and just exude thrive through social media, because it's such a super cool place to meet so many different people. So the first thing I want to ask is, I just want to give kudos to, because you guys are crushing this 7-day live challenge. And I know it's not easy. Aside from the fact of having like 7 ideas for the week, even though 4 of them are supposed to be business, I know, just speaking vulnerably, sometimes you get through it and you're like, it's 6 o'clock, you're about to go sit down and you're like, oh crap, haven't gone live today. And you're like, got to think of something on the fly. That is what differentiates you from people who are not successful in this business, because you're consistently showing up because you're committed to it. That's a big reason we do these challenges. Again, it's great to have people like coming to you and asking you about stuff. It's great to grow the confidence, but it grows like your consistency. It grows your commitment. It's like when you get up in the morning and you're saying like, I'm going to work out for 7 days straight. And then on the 7th day, you just really don't feel like it, but you push yourself to do it. And when you're done, you feel great about what you did, right? You feel energetic, you feel all the things. But if you would have said no, just that one day, it would have crushed your 6 days of commitment. So that's why I always say too, like, major kudos to you guys. Hats off. I hope it's giving you a lot of confidence, success, consistency. I hope there's people asking you guys, because that's one of the things I'm going to talk about today. Most of the time, I'd say like 90% of the time that I go live, I have some conversation starting afterward about something, but I promise you guys, it's because I'm just consistently on there talking to people. And one of the things that I see a lot on people's reels, so this is going to go for your reels and your Facebook lives, or any lives that you're doing, which, by the way, I just saw Kristen's face. I stole your reel idea for this morning because I just love it. So thanks for that. One of the things that I don't see as often, and not just here, but with anybody who's social selling, network marketing, is call to action. And why that's so important is because things like your reels, for example, when someone hops on there and they have 3 to 10 seconds that they're watching your stuff, right? And because this is what I hear a lot of time afterwards. Haas and I were talking about it the other day with one of his reels. He's like, well, what do I do now? Like, what do I do with all these people, right? If you have a call to action on there, I just feel like it gives a better lead to the funnel. So if you're doing one like the one that I'm going to share with you this morning, I immediately said, like, what would 800 do for your family? The first call to action is going to require people to answer the question, right? What would $800 do for your family? Well, that's just going to create engagement, because then there's going to be people commenting what it would do for their family. There's going to be the people coming to watch, because the popcorn in the comments people, that's me all the time too. Then there's going to be the second part of it where I said, click follow and I'll mentor you to this bonus. So when you're doing a reel or even a live, what's your call to action? Like on Facebook Lives, you'll hear a lot of us say right in the beginning, hey, if you're watching on live, say, hey. If you're watching on a replay, say you missed me, or hashtag replay, whatever. That's a call to action, because it requires people to do something in your comments, which also bumps up your stuff, which also creates engagement. And now, like, a top tip is, especially when you have people commenting hashtag live or hashtag replay or anything, always go back. And I know I said this, but I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Always go back and engage with those people. Those are people that are genuinely engaging with your comments. Make sure that you show them some love too. Sometimes I go through it, and if it's a bunch of y'all, I just like your stuff and I'm like, thank you. But if it's someone like out of the blue, I had this girl yesterday commented on something. I have reached out to this girl like 15 times. I didn't even open my my messages. Like, you know, you see the check mark instead of the face, which, by the way, this is my mind is so squirrely sometimes. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I was telling somebody yesterday, we were talking and they didn't know this, so I figured I'll share it with you guys too. You can turn off on your Facebook Lives the ability for people to see when you've opened a message. So like I can open messages and you won't know it. So it's just in your settings to click off that you're like offline. Cause I don't know, sometimes, you know, when you have people like messaging you a million times or something and you don't want them to see it, just a little tip for you. Just a little pro tip for you. But yeah, okay. So one of the things when it comes to call to action too is, again, I love when Jess goes, where are you watching from? Because even the other day when I was on her live and I saw, where are you watching from? I saw this girl from LA. I'm like, how does Jess know someone in LA? Then I saw someone from Canada. I'm like, man, that's because she's networking, number one, I'm sure, adding new people to her network. But then it also gives her a, oh yeah, who's that girl from LA? Oh yeah, who's that girl from over here? And then you know who's watching. And Valerie and I were just having this conversation this morning, is sometimes it's super easy to go, hey, thanks for hopping on my live. Like, what intrigued you to check this out? Or what questions did you have about what I shared on my live? Because they've already engaged with you. That's where I think sometimes people get detached from the lives because they're like, well, I wish I knew who the 121 viewers were. So do I. But that's not the way it works. We can only know who likes it and comments on it. So that's why you have to create a call to action in order for people to do something. It's incredible. If you don't, I've tested it. You can go on my Facebook right now and look at my Facebook, and versus the ones where I had no call to action versus the ones where I did, the engagement rate is completely different. It's like a 180 or 360. 360 is all the way around. Okay, 180. It's incredible, but simply because I'm just asking people to do something. And I think sometimes too, we're so scared of like what call to action means, or you're already doing so much. So like what I do on all my lives is I have post-it notes along all the bottom of my computer. Probably seen them a million times in our screenshots. But one of the things that I have on here is always call to action so that I remember. Like the other day when I did a Facebook Live about my ring, I said, do you guys get your rings inspected? That's a call to action. Don't overwhelm yourself by saying, I need to say this or I need to say that. Just ask people to take action. And so when you do like the reels, the best place that you can do that is inside your caption. When you're writing out your caption, I like to do it, and I see a lot of you guys doing it too, inside the reel, because sometimes I don't even read people's captions. And you just got to remember, there are people from all walks of life on these apps. There are busy moms like me. I'm not saying other people aren't busy, but there are people who are just, listening at work with the volume all the way down. There are people who are maybe just watching it really quick. So if you have something even in your reel, like with your letters, click to follow, like this if you agree. Those types of call to actions too. I mean, the more call to action, the better, because you think you're just hitting all different types of people, the people who actually read the caption, which I'm sorry, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I do. You know what's insane is I read the caption when someone puts read the caption. I feel like I'm missing out on something if I don't read the caption. So maybe that's what you put in your call to action, read the caption. And that will require someone to take action. And it's kind of just like the Facebook Lives. Like, I know Jess was saying it the other day, like if people unfollow you or unfriend you because you're going live 7 days a week, they sounds like they have their own issues anyway. They're not supportive to you or your business, so you wouldn't want them around anyway. Same thing goes for the reels. You want people who are actually going to engage when they join your team, right? To engage when they use your product. So if they're not going to engage in your reel really quick, then that's fine. You probably wouldn't vibe with them anyway. And I had to get out of this mindset in the last year of thinking that everyone would be on my team. It literally reminds me of, and I don't know if I told this before, but when I used to work at Dollar Tree, they called me Sid Vicious, like a real thing. I was vicious. back then. I still kind of am now, but I would just go through people, like hire and fire like it was going out of style. I love you. Have a great day. Love you too. Have a good day. Okay. So when I would be there, my original manager, my, I don't remember what we used to call him, store manager, DM, he would hire people. And I would literally freak out on Reggie and be like, listen, you always hire, like he would hire anyone with a pulse. Because like they would come to work the first day, and like one girl came to work the first day, took the till and left. So she like robbed us basically. And I was like, Reggie, did you even talk to her? Like, or did you just check and make sure she had a pulse and she could work here? So I had to start going through and interviewing people. It became one of my jobs, at one of my many jobs there. Same thing in this business. We are not going to recruit everyone that has a pulse as much as we want to. Think about it, you probably in the long run don't want to. So people that aren't going to, just detach that emotion from your brain. I know it's hard for me too, because I'm out here like everybody needs Thrive. Don't get me wrong, everybody needs Thrive. But is everybody going to want to take Thrive? And which, by the way, Kristen is doing the team Zoom tonight, the team huddle on the wheel. I don't care if you've used the wheel or not, you need to be there, because I'm sure she's going to give some killer tips. And the wheel every time now is what differentiates me from like feeling like I'm begging people versus giving them what they actually want. Because sometimes we want something so bad for someone that they don't even want for themselves. So all that's going to do for you is discourage you, make you feel some type of way about you and your business and your confidence. So sorry, that was a little rant, because it makes me think of Dollar Tree sometimes, where I just literally had to go through and actually interview people. And sometimes I would be like, I'm going through this extensive interview that like I would type up this whole thing, right? And I'd be like, give me 3 words that describe you, all that kind of stuff, for them to be a cashier. But just because like I realize you cannot have anybody on your team that has a pulse, because they might walk out with the till. They might, I can't even tell you all the stuff that used to happen inside that store from people that my old manager hired. God bless that man still. So call to action, write that down in your DMO for all of your reels. I need a call to action. And again, it does not have to be something that you are super stressed out about. It can be something simple as click to follow, especially when you're providing value through the reels or the lives. Like if you're doing a live, especially about when you're doing them about this business. So in the 7 days, the four of your lives should have been something about business. A perfect way is if you have more questions, reach out to me. If you want to know more about this, reach out to me. That's just a call to action. If you would like your car paid for, comment. I'd love that. If you would like $800 in your first 14 days, comment. I would love that. I don't know who would say not, but then that gives you the people, that gives you your audience. Those people right there are your audience to go right to and say, hey, well, we always want people to come right to us, but sometimes we forget that fine line of where we can get them to do it. We just forget. We just got to ask them. Simple call to action. So those are going to go on your lives, your reels. I mean, I use a call to action on my Instagram posts, like quotes and stuff. And I just say, click to follow for more inspiration, anything like that. And I saw this quote from Ray Higdon, and it was funny because Jess posted something about him yesterday. Do not sleep on that man. He is fire. And if you don't agree so much with cold messaging and that type of recruiting, that's on you. But I'm telling you, this man has some really good fire tips. And he is someone who came from nothing and created a lot of success in our industry. So he said something on one of the trainings I was watching: stop believing you require credibility before you build a brand. Too many of us think that we're not credible enough because we don't have this big brand or this niche. And I used to like that word niche. Now I don't, because I think it makes people scared that they're not good enough. They're not good enough to run a business online. They're not good enough to go live once or twice a week. It's like the chicken before the egg, right? And I don't know the answer to that. That's up to you and your beliefs. I don't want to get into it, but you don't need credibility to start building a brand. Everyone starts somewhere. So when you get on, I mean, the one thing I think about too, when I'm watching your guys' lives the last 7 days, hats off to everybody who did it, because your energy is your currency. And remember, people want to join people who sound motivated, excited about what they're doing. I think one day I wasn't even feeling good. And I was like, Sydney, I 10 clapped it, got my ish together. And I was like, hey, like immediately. And because I put on that for my social media following, not to say that every day is butterflies and rainbows, that's fine. But because when I go live, it's all through my energy. And to be honest, started feeling much better after I went live. I was like, oh, maybe I just needed like a little to myself, a little like, what's those things that you put on you when they shock your heart? A little bit of something like that. So remember that when you're doing these lives, when you're doing these reels, really exude like your energy, your personality. I think for some of us, we get in our own heads too much about like, does that look stupid? Like I did the one live this morning and I was like, my hair is sticking out on the side right here. Oh, well, it's also not in my nature or my brand to be perfectly made up all the time. That's just not who I am. That's not who I'm trying to recruit either, because I can't, that's not duplicatable for me. I love those girls you see on Instagram where they're like, you know, on top of the Eiffel Tower, eating a celery stalk with their hat all perfect. And I'm like, great, that's awesome. Hats make my head look weird. I don't really like celery and I'm afraid of heights. So that's not the person that I'm trying to bring on to my team anyway. So think about it. Like if you got to do a reel and your hair's a little funky or you just got out of bed, that's okay, because you're trying to recruit the you before you got started in this. Every time I'm posting on Facebook, I'm going live, I'm doing a reel, it's for Sydney in Dollar Tree. It's not for Sydney 6 years into entrepreneurship, because she's going to probably be a little bit harder to get, find, maneuver, deal with, if you will. Sydney in Dollar Tree was the exact person that I knew I could help, is the person I know I can help. So that's like what I was talking about last week too, is being super intentional when you're posting things. If you have that ideal person already in your mind and you know who you want to help, it makes it a lot easier to talk to them. It makes it a lot more fun to talk to them. One of the things that I have in my little notes here today too, is I really want you guys to go through your pages after this Zoom today, or stat, because you really want to get rid of all the $25 off things. All the, half off. I know lots of us are posting about half off and what sales our company had. If you're doing the most important thing that you should be doing every day, and that's adding new people to your network, I'm gonna say that till I'm blue in the face, because my last 2 customers that bought couples packs were brand new people that I just did connection messages with. The one girl, I felt like a total dingleberry asking her how we met. She's like, you just added me like last week. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I felt so bad. I didn't even have time to do a connection message. So that's why I was confused. I'm like, where did I even find this girl? So go through your page, take all of that off, especially because when people are coming to your page after you add them, what's the first thing you do? I go stalk their page. I go start looking through everything. This is why I stress to you guys too, to have more of you in your stories, your face, not just company graphics, not just quotes, not things like that. And guys, it can be so simple what you do inside your stories. I just scrolled out. Sorry, Erin, I'm going to answer your question in a sec. Yesterday, I was like, oh crap, I haven't showed my face in my stories. And then Zane was behind me screaming. And I'm like, you know what? This is perfect. This is exactly what my life is. Sometimes it's just a little bit of that. Like, I think, Mandy, you could do one right when you're walking into work, and because how cool that you work at SeaWorld, but just walking in, getting my day started. I told Haas about these too, and he's going to start doing them. But like maybe a little, just tidbit every morning. Hey, it's your daily reminder to go kick ass today. It's your daily reminder to go switch the laundry because you haven't. It's your daily reminder to get ready because it makes you feel better. Simple things like that. But the more you're showing your face, the more people are getting to know, like, and trust you. And the more that when you add people, they're not coming and seeing this like spammy stuff on your page. And I'm, the pot calling the kettle black. All I do is talk about Thrive. Okay. I'm not scared either, but I try to do some things in between that so that people know that I'm a person too. And I laughed the other day because I was talking to someone and I was like, man, you gotta grow tough skin when you're in this business. I had this girl yesterday, again, Jess and I were talking about this at the mastermind, sent her a birthday message. And she was like, the first thing she said, instead of you're welcome, which I was like, rude. She was like, the first thing she said, you're like the 8th person who sent me this message today. And I was like, man, that's a lot of people who are trying to make you happy on your special day. Hope you have a great day. Like 6 years ago, Sydney would have cried in a hole. Oh my gosh, she's so mean to me. But I was like, you know what? There's a million other people out there. And she unfriended me in like 2 seconds after that anyway. So again, not somebody I would want on my team, right? Not somebody I would want using my product, not somebody who's open-minded. I know it was funny. I had to share that with you guys because I want you guys to know you're not the only people who deal with stuff in the world of social media. We all do. We just all deal with it differently. I just laugh about it. I mean, not all the time, but especially when we were at the mastermind, Jess was like, that's such a nice way of, like giving her the bird. And I was like, I didn't even realize it like that. I just kind of was like, people are trying to make you happy. In my eyes, you don't really look that happy right now. Because even when some people send me messages like that, I'm usually chit chatty with them, like, oh, cool, And for me, especially on social media, I like to build other people up. Even if they're in another company, I just like to say, like, thanks so much for reaching out, but I'm really happy with what I'm using right now. It's called Thrive. Have you ever heard of it? That's just, that's me. I like to make other people happy instead of saying like, well, you're the fifth person that sent me that message today, and that kind of crap, right? I brought that up too because she's right on the bottom of my screen now. It's funny. Okay, so I want to answer Aaron's questions. Call to action to work on that, get better. Try to engage Sunday. Okay, polls in your story. I get that a lot, like nobody answers. So number one, stay consistent with them, even if no one's answering. Sometimes it's just Jess, my mom, and Haas who answer my polls. Sometimes it's no one. What I do though, is I switch up my polls then. So if you're going to start being consistent on your polls and start doing them, let's say every day or every other day, do one, like, cause I know a lot of us, we want to talk about product. We want to say like vanilla or chocolate. Or, do you drink coffee in the morning? That kind of stuff. Do something that like reverts to your regular life and give people the opportunity to start engaging that way. I remember the biggest poll that I had, like the largest response inside a poll that I had was like a year ago. In the morning, I woke up, I made my bed, I backed up, took a picture of my bed and put on there, do you guys make your bed in the morning? Yes or no? And I had like 200 people that answered. And it was just easy to go back and forth. Like the no people, I was just like, well, like, how do you feel about that? Lots of people, I don't make it because I get back into it. And the yes people, a lot of people were it's just a conversation, right? It's an icebreaker. But then it gets more people to come and ask about your polls or come comment on your polls. You're not going to get those results all the time. You're just not. I wish you would, but it just doesn't happen that way. The best way to do it is just consistently here and there. And just remember when you're doing something business or opportunity product, I just like to look at the viewers. Even if the poll hasn't been answered, remember people are always watching. Even if they don't engage, they're watching because you can just look at the viewers. That's why I love stories too, you guys. So many people are asking me about, I wish you could see the people with the lives. You can with the stories if you show up consistently in there. It's very easy. And I promise you that story watcher script slays. Every time someone's like, oh yeah, you know what, actually I am interested. I've been meaning to ask you or blah, blah, blah. But you can only do that if you're in your story. So Aaron, just start going consistently. And one of my big tips, this isn't on my notes, but I just thought of it, is when you're doing your lives or your stories or anything that requires anything you do on Facebook, right? Or social media where you're looking for engagement, spend like 5 minutes engaging prior. So if you're about to post a story, spend like 5 minutes engaging in other people's stories first. Here, commenting, sending emojis, all that kind of stuff. I like to comment because it starts conversation and it starts it privately. Or if you're going to make a post or if you're going to go live, spend 5 minutes engaging on your scroll, then do your live or your post or story, then spend an additional 5 minutes engaging. Because think about it, you just spent 10 minutes engaging with other people, which is on our IPA checklist, right? It's engaged with 10 non-thrivers. So I'm sure you met 10 people in that point. But what also happens is then you're engaging it, like you play with the algorithm a little bit for more people to potentially see you when you're engaging with other people. So many people, number one, your engagement, a lot of it for a lot of people, and I know it, is because they're getting on and they just take. They get on, they make the post, they get off. Facebook sees that. And they're like, well, Katie's just over here trying to take. We're not giving her nothing. But if you're give, take, then you will receive. So just remember that. Don't hop on any platform and post and then just jump off. That just tells the platform that you're not an active user. You're just somebody who's trying to take. So that's why my engagement rule is so important to me. I spend so much time engaging before I do something. And I know for a fact it works, because if I don't get the same amount of engagement back either, every time. I would take down the lives that you did about, like, if it was specifically about $25 or specifically about the half off, I would. But if you just briefly mention it, I wouldn't worry about it. Especially for me, because I did the live about what I do. I did an updated version. And in the end, I mentioned the half off a little bit. I'm still going to leave that up because it was a good video. And I want to use it for my milkshake. So, yeah, don't worry about that. But like, if you did one specifically about, hey, these are all the products, like Haas has one, we need to get rid of it. It was like 5 products. We gave him like $25 right now. Cause you just don't want somebody coming and like, oh, here's a sale and whatever, or waiting for the next sale. That's what happens so many times too. I find with people when they leave up all these sales, is your people that you are trying to engage with, they'll just, oh, you know what? I'll just wait till the next one. Those are worse than the people that say, I'll start on Monday. Honestly, I'd rather you start on Monday. But when people say, I'll just wait till the next sale, I'm like, oh, I cringe. So reel challenge, what I've got here. Okay. And the importance of this reel, of reels in general. So when we get on here, we give you guys a trending reel. Trending, I have no idea how long trending lasts. I don't think anyone does. But what I will say is it doesn't last long. So you need to hurry up and hop on the trend while we give it out. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to take a picture of everyone before I forget. Thanks, friends. Okay. So if I give out this reel on Wednesday and you wait till next Wednesday, I don't know if it's still going to be trending then. Okay. So sense of urgency, just like you would anything else. Like if you can't do it today, I get it. Get ready tomorrow, get to it. I wasn't ready when I did this one, but that's okay. So it's on my page right now. And it's basically, Kristen did it too. So if you want to go to her page, you can check out hers. She did it about payday. I did it about the $800 bonus. Again, I'm pretty sure Kristen agrees. You can take whatever content we used and use it. But if you have something you have in mind for yourself, something like a little bit different, you can always do that. But I know for some people, if they think too much, or if they use a different one and they didn't get a ton of views, remember, this is to create consistency on your Instagram. If it grows you followers and it grows engagement, that's just cherry on the cake, right? So this one is just very simple. It is a hand movement. So set your timer. Once you use your audio, set your timer. And it's just like, you'll see, you turn your hand, pull an arrow, shoot it. Piece up, A-tone down. Okay. It's really not hard. But it's a fun one. And I think the reason I loved it was because I kept, and this is how I found actually the one, there was another girl in Lavelle that used the same wording I did. So I was like, ooh, I'm taking that. When you click the sound, don't forget that it will bring up all the people that have used that audio. That just creates, it's content creation for you. You can use the same audio 10 times in 1 week if you want to see like, what engagement goes where. I find for me, and this is why I encouraged you guys to start with a business account on Instagram, because if you're like, when's the best time for me to post? When is, what's the best time for anybody to post? If you go to your insights and you click your followers, it gives you a literal graph of when your followers are on. More of them are on at 9 a.m. than at 12. And if you're posting at 12 and you're not getting anything, it's because they're all on at 9. So you're better off posting at like 8:50 so that when they're on, they can see it versus at 12. So that's why too, if you haven't changed over to Instagram business, I would recommend that. Do you have your hand up, Kristen?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. One of the things that made that reel that I did yesterday really easy is if you go to the right while you're creating the reel and you have the audio already uploaded, is you go to your speed and change your speed to 2 times or 3 times. That particular one I did 2 times. And what it does is it slows down the wording so you can make your wording a little more closer to what the timing is versus being full speed. And then I set the timer and it counts down and then I'm ready to go. So that's how it gets a little more accurate on the synchronizing.
Oh yeah, that's a good tip. Yeah, so if you have an issue with moving your mouth to the words, that will help you. So it's not so like at time, you can slow it down a little bit. That's a great tip. Thank you. And that's on the right-hand side, right? When you're Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes, it is. It's on the right-hand side when you, so what you do is when you find that audio and you click save audio, and then down at the bottom, it'll say use audio. You click on use audio, and then that audio will automatically come up in your reels and it's ready for you to record. And then you can change your lighting, you can change your filters, and then you go to the right and then pick your speed and pick your timer. And then once you're done, it'll count down and you're ready to go. And if you don't like it after you watch it, because it plays it right away, then you can go in and X out of it. And sometimes you have to redo some of the things again, but that's pretty much the process.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so if you have an issue with that, if not, I mean, just go in. I recommend using the timer because it just helps you get ready, like 3, 2, 1. But remember, you're your biggest critic. So if you're worried about like a little piece of your hair sticking out, or maybe there's like a bunch of filth in the background, which I don't recommend the filth in the background, but you're your biggest critic. You're the one that's looking at it going, oh my gosh, my one eyebrow is different than the other one, or whatever. Not the point for people to notice that. And if it is, I would just use it as a marketing tool. Okay. Don't worry about it. Try to just be present over perfect, because it's going to help you create that consistency and commitment to yourself. So the reel's up on my page. I'll go right now and share it into the team chat so that you can grab the sound. And just remember, the sound you can grab right from the top, click use audio. It's super easy. Like I did it standing over there this morning. So I think that all of you guys could get it, knock it out today. Because remember, the faster you use it, the more potential you have, because it's trending right now. Okay. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat for me, so that in the team chat, so that we can get them answered and help other people too. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys tonight. Set your alarms 7 p.m. for the team huddle with Kristen. Bye. Have a great day.